Well, we've reached the end of 2022.
Yes.
It's been a year.
It has been a year.
Another year of podcasting.
Another year of disappointment.
Yeah. It's pretty accurate. You know, we had some wins. We saw Billy Joel finally.
Yeah.
It only took an extra 2 years, but we finally got there. So that was a win. We've been talking about that a lot.
Right.
Throughout the years of recording. Not much else.
No, I was gonna say a couple wins, a lot of losses.
A lot of losses.
But that's life.
That's life, yeah. But as we prepare for our 3rd year of podcasting, I thought we should just reflect back on the year of 2022. While we're recording this, there are 5 days left of the year?
Yeah, it's day after Christmas.
Day after Christmas, yes.
Spirits are better. A little bit better.
Yeah. We have a plan for next year. I know we've kind of talked about our changing schedule a little bit. Basically what happened is Hannah and I hit our threshold of realistic versus, I don't know, expectations.
Our expectations were too high.
Too high for ourselves.
Yes.
We had some ambitious projects lined up that we then quickly realized were unattainable.
Yes.
We took a really long break due to various reasons. Not just the not be able to get right to it, but just other stuff as well. And we did come back. We did manage to come back for the end of this year.
Yeah.
And going forward, we can't do an episode a week.
No.
That's too much. It worked when we were quarantined and we couldn't do anything, but now that we actively doing things and able to, get out of the house and travel, and it's just not feasible for us anymore. And we don't want to do this if we don't like doing it, which I think we kind of were getting to that point where we just weren't necessarily looking forward to everything involved.
Yeah, I always said when it started to feel more like a job than like a hobby, that's when I wouldn't want to do it anymore. And we were getting to that point where it was so time consuming and stuff like that, and it wasn't that enjoyable anymore. But I think taking a break, changing it up to where we don't have to feel so stressed is probably going to be a good thing.
Yeah, I think so too.
And I think it's also going to lead to better quality episodes because we don't have to just come up with something because we have to have an episode.
Because we have to have an episode.
Right. I don't want to just do an episode because we feel like we have to. I want to do ones that I'm actually excited about, ones that I'm proud of putting out.
So moving forward, we're going to look at 2 episodes a month.
Yeah.
So every 2 weeks, roughly. We may occasionally put out 3 episodes or a bonus episode or a mini episode here and there because we do have Pixar next this year. We have another Fast and the Furious movie. We'll be heading to the theaters this summer. But yeah, so we'll still be releasing episodes. We have a rough set plan.
We're not going to say for sure 2 every month because you never know. Life happens. Stuff comes up. But yeah, I think it's more manageable, and I think it's going to be a lot less stressful and give us a lot more time to be able to prepare and to edit and everything like that.
Right.
But we made it to year 2.
We made it to year 2.
Which I know when we did year 1, we said we never thought we'd make it to the end of year 1.
Mm-hmm.
I'm even more shocked here.
Especially after we took our 3-month break.
Right.
Extended break. Yeah, no, I wasn't sure we were going to end the year.
No.
This is Research Rank Repeat. Welcome. I'm your co-host Alyssa.
This is co-host Hannah.
We reached year 2. We're celebrating with our 2022 year in review extravaganza.
Yes.
Woo! We made it.
We got our Woody hats again.
Yeah, we got our Woody hats.
Do you remember last year, if people listened last year to our extravaganza, we did a sort of like overview of our thoughts / feelings and what we expected, what we didn't expect, stuff like that. I thought we could just briefly discuss hardships / what you thought was like good this year and what surprised you this year.
Yeah. I think we started the year out strong. We had like mapped out like a good 3 to 4 months pretty solidly. With like, I think we left like 1 or 2 gaps that we could fill in however we want, but we like had a really solid plan. We were really like driven and like really were invested and like had a good, well-oiled machine. I think what happened is when we started to get around like May, June, there was a lot going on in general. Like, I had started a new job, or it was like in the process of applying for this job and starting a new job, and you were in school and also working and traveling, starting to travel more than in the previous past 2 years. It just became so overwhelming to a point where like we had we'll have an episode that's going to come out sometime next year. Hannah had finished it. She had done all the stuff necessary to do it, and I can't remember what was going on, but I like kept forgetting I had to like do one final thing, and I kept forgetting to do it, and then we just like never released it.
We never even recorded
it. So I'll have to go back and do a little bit to remember, because it's been a few months, but like it just like kept not happening, and then like there's other sorted things and COVID.
Yep. Yeah.
It claimed us in 2022.
Claimed both of us.
Yeah, sadly. We just got so overwhelmed. And I remember even before we got super overwhelmed, I remember I like was thinking about it, and I texted Hannah, and I was like, hey, you know, when we are figuring out our 2023 schedule, we should think about reducing the number of episodes we release. You were like, yeah, I think that's a good idea. But then we ended up just like stopping for months. I think what I learned is that once you like fall off of a schedule, because we had a very consistent schedule for our first year and a half, where we would release 1 episode a week. You know, we'd have to edit and record and send it out on social media, and like on the same day every week kind of deal. And once you're not on a schedule anymore, it's very hard to get back to a like consistent schedule. And I think we were able to find a way to come back to it. But that's what I think the biggest struggle of this year was like, we were like, we need a break. And 1 month turned to 2 months, and 2 months turned to 3 months. I think what helped is we were like, hey, Hocus Pocus 2 is coming out. We did Hocus Pocus 1. It's 1 movie. If we bring back a guest, then we're like, we have to do it, because
we're committed.
We're committed, and we're bringing someone else in, and who's been on before, so they already kind of know what's going on. I think that helped, because then we're like, okay, cool. What can we do for the rest of the year to 2 or 3 more episodes of things we want to do? And I think that helped a lot. So I guess that's what I will say, is that once you fall off a schedule, it can be really, really hard to find a way to, 1, create a new schedule, but 2, also like get back into that pattern of doing it.
I think mine, in addition to that, because obviously I think that was definitely the biggest issue, I also think that I just got to the point where I wasn't enjoying it.
Yeah.
And I liked to do the podcast when we first started, because I felt like, especially because it was like a really weird time and there was a lot going on, I felt like it was a nice distraction. And I felt like it was fun to do. And I got to the point where I was just like probably so stressed about it that I didn't enjoy it anymore.
Yeah.
And that kind of, I think, translated into me like not putting in as much effort. And so I think when we came back and we were actually picking things we wanted to do, like, not that we didn't do that before, but we were kind of just doing things that we specifically wanted to do and not caring about needing to put something out, just what we wanted to do. And so I think the last couple episodes we did were stuff that we genuinely enjoyed.
Right.
And I think that translates to better episodes.
Yeah, I think there's a little pocket in the middle, right, kind of near before we took our hiatus, that are not, they're not bad episodes, but I think like we weren't super passionate.
Right, we just kind of did it to
about
do
it.
it.
So we just kind of like going through the motions more so. Like, I don't think anything will ever be as bad as our James Bond episode.
No, or the NHL logos.
Or the NHL logos, that one. Both of those were pretty experimental, but didn't didn't translate well and didn't
Right.
work. With James Bond, we just were both not
We
into
didn't
it
care about
at all.
it.
We did not
Yeah.
care about that episode at all.
So yeah, I think that was good. I think the good positive things is I think one going off of that, we learned to not just do episodes just to do them. We should probably pick things that we actually have some interest in.
Yeah.
I also think that I definitely felt more comfortable this year. First half of last year, I was just trying to get comfortable with like doing this whole process. So I definitely feel more comfortable. And I think too, I just stopped caring. I think I used to care a lot and like was very like censored in what I would say, and I feel like now I got to the point where I'm just kind of gonna say what I want to say.
I stopped caring like pretty early on. I'd say maybe, honestly, it may have been our wedding songs one.
Yeah.
I feel like that was never really an issue for me. I think what's hard is that especially with editing, is I became very aware of certain things that I said a lot, or things that I didn't exactly like, that I'm like, I need to stop doing that. So I became a lot more conscious of like trying to not do that. And I noticed especially in these like newest episodes that I've reverted and am doing some of those things that I'm like, no, stop saying that.
Yeah.
So I've been hearing it again while I'm editing, and I'm like, okay, I need to rein that in a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, overall, I feel like we definitely released a lot fewer episodes.
Yes, and I will get to
Yeah,
that.
we have some data.
I did our stats again. I enjoyed doing that last year, so I compiled some stats.
But I will say, going into this next year, I actually do feel like excited about it again.
I do too.
That's pretty much all I had to say about this last year.
Yeah, I think that's
and we can
point.
get into some statistics.
Yeah, let's get into some stats. Okay, so I kind of followed the same formula that I did last year, but I had to update some things clearly because I had to do some comparisons from like 2021 to 2022, so I did a couple extra things with this. But like last year, we had about the same amount of views the first year as we did the second year, which honestly, considering we put out way less episodes, I feel like is pretty good. And so in 2021, we had claimed 31 states of the United States. This year, we have now claimed 40 states.
Nice.
And Washington, D.C. We've
Yes.
also claimed D.C. as well. So that is 80% of the U.S. we have now claimed. We're slowly getting into the middle America that we had a big like slash through the middle. We did also get Hawaii, so we got one of the non-continental states. We still are looking to get Puerto Rico as well. Almost 10% of U.S. listeners either used a VPN or their location couldn't be recorded, and that was about the same as last year. So potentially people are listening in some of our states,
we just
but
wouldn't know.
So our top 5 states account for 62% of our listens. And this is actually different from last year.
Okay.
So our top 5 are Michigan, California, Ohio, New Jersey, and Oregon. So last year, New Jersey was not in our list. Mm-hmm. It was Minnesota. And I believe Ohio also was in our list, but I can't remember what state it replaced. But yeah, so we got some new states this year. So for countries, in 2021, we had claimed 36 countries of the world. This year, we have gone up to 48 countries.
Nice.
24.6% of countries claimed of the world. And again, we have claimed 6 out of the 7 continents.
Still need Antarctica.
Yeah, still need that. So our top 5 countries are also a little bit different from last year. Pretty similar. I think there's one country that's different. But our top 5 countries account for 86.5% of our listens, which again is about the same as last year, not surprising. So our top 5 countries are the United States, Mexico, Brazil, the UK, and then France. So last year Germany was on our list. Now France is on our list. And again, I have recorded our top country from every continent. North America is the United States. Europe is the United Kingdom. South America is Brazil. All those 3 are the same. Now, for Asia, our number 1 country is now Japan. We'll get to that.
I was going to say, I think I know who got us Japan.
We'll get to that when I talk about our top 5 most downloaded episodes. And Africa actually is a tie between Kenya and Nigeria, which is fun because we have ties to both of those countries. Me being that I've been to Kenya, and Nigeria being that one of our guests of our podcast has been and spent a lot of time in doing research within the country. So that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
I liked that. So now we're going to go to our episodes. Now, I have two stats. I have our top 5 most downloaded episodes specifically in the year of 2022, and I also have our top 5 most downloaded episodes just in general, like of the entirety of the time our podcast has been out, right. So for the whole 2 years. Do you have a guess, Hannah, what you think our top most downloaded episode of 2022 is, if you had to guess?
I feel like it's still Lady Gaga.
It's still Lady Gaga. So it's less percent. It's now 10.3%, but still number one. The basically, a lot of the world likes 3 of our episodes. 3 get a lot of international listens for the most part. Yeah. One of those is Lady Gaga, which we knew from last year. Number 2, though, Hannah, was one episode from this year. And this is where basically all of our Japan listens come from. Our number 2 episode is Avril Lavigne Bite Me, which is 7.5% of our total views of 2022. Number 3, CSI Miami, Hannah Gets Fooled Again, 3.4%. Our number 4 most downloaded episode is 2021 1 Year Anniversary Extravaganza, 2.5%. And number 5 is Cheese, Let's Agree to Disagree, with 2.4%. Now, this is going to look a little different from our top 5 most downloaded episodes. Right. There is some overlap, but we'll go over that as well. So, our top most downloaded episode of all time, still, Lady Gaga, Hannah's Bad Romance. And that comes in with 14.9% of the total listens. That episode, Lady Gaga is the star power we need.
Yeah.
Number 2, TV Pilots, ABC Family, 4.7% of the views. Of the listens. So I think it's interesting that episode is still our most downloaded episode behind Lady Gaga. However, it was not in our top 5 of the year of 2022, which I thought that was very interesting. That even without being in the top 5, it still ranks number 2. It's interesting.
Yes, it is.
Number 3, Avril Lavigne Bite Me. So even though this episode came out in 2022, it is the only episode that came out in 2022 that's in our top 5. So this just within a year has enough listens that it is in our top 5 of all time, which I think is interesting. We have found that our music episodes, while I don't necessarily think they translate super well, they tend to have our most, which I guess if you make sense, if you're searching for Avril Lavigne or Lady Gaga, popular artists, it makes sense that would be ones that are the most found by other people. So number 4, we have CSI Miami, Hannah Gets Fooled Again, 3% of our listens. And number 5, we have Pixar Part 1, Bros Before Bows, 2.5%. Now we have our most popular months. And this is just completely different from last year.
Right.
January, March, May, February, and July. And now we go to our listening sources. So we had 24 total listening sources. 10% of the listens came from an unknown source. But that's crazy to me that there are, well, first of all, that there are 24 different sources you can listen from. But the fact that there are people who listened from
all 24
different ones. So our top 5 listening sources, number 1 comes from Spotify, which sounds about right. It makes sense. That's where mainly most people I know listen to it. Accounts for 36.93% of our total listens. Number 2 comes from Amazon Music Podcasts, 15.25%. Then Apple Podcasts, 13.07%. Google Chrome is number 4 with 10.13%. And number 5 is Player FM with 3.31%. I don't know what Player FM is.
I've used it before. They have like radio you can listen to, and then they're also like you can listen to music and podcasts and stuff.
All right. So as of this episode, we have a total number of 84 episodes released between this year and last year. So this year specifically, we released 32 episodes. And this probably will be roughly what like our next year's
we'll look
closer to that. So of those 32 episodes, we had 3 bonus episodes, which would be like our bloopers, and we released a trailer.
Yes.
So they were not. I included our mini episodes as full episodes because they're not a bonus, but they're shorter form. So according to my calculations, our total podcast minute time recorded is 1,587 minutes recorded, which goes to 26 hours and 27 minutes. So we have a full day's worth of podcast that you can listen to.
If you ever are bored one day and need something to do all day,
you got it.
Listen to our whole slew.
In 2021, we had 53 hours of episodes. Now, I think this is two things, Hannah. I think for the first part, we had a lot more longer form episodes our first year in general. We also were not very good at compacting. I think we also are better at being a bit more concise than we were previously, considering our first Pixar recording went for over 3 hours, and we cut, I want to say, at least an hour of that.
More than an hour, yes.
Yeah. So our longest episode of 2022 was our CW superhero show Pilots, which came in at 116 minutes, which is 1 hour and 56 minutes. Yep. So it was almost 2 hours long, but that was by far our longest episode of the year. So we had 4 episodes with guests. We had 3 that were featuring somebody in-house, recording with us, and we had 1 episode that we had survey participants from both listeners and non-listeners of the podcast. So last year I recorded the number of episodes that filled each category. So this year we had 2 episodes focused on music, 1 on television shows, 7 on movies, 6 on taste testing, and 13 miscellaneous episodes. So to compare that to 2021, we had 7 music episodes, 10 TV episodes, 16 movies, 7 taste testing, and 12 miscellaneous. So it's really interesting to me to see the differences. The taste testing and the miscellaneous stayed the same even with the lack of 20 less episodes. But however, we had 1 television episode compared to 10. We had 7 movies compared to 16 episodes.
Right.
And then 2 music to 7. And so interesting enough, so we had 7 multi-part episodes this year.
Yes.
And what's interesting is that last year we had several series that had more than 1 episode, whereas Pixar, we had 5 episodes for Pixar. We had 2 episodes for Twilight. This year we didn't have any episodes that were a part 1 and a part 2. All of our multi-part episodes were extensions from episodes that came out in 2021. So we had a Lindsay Lohan episode, we had Pixar minisodes, we had, updates to Songs of the Summer Part 2. And then the last thing I have is that we had 4 mini episodes that were basically extensions from our long form lists. 2 of those being Pixar, 1 Lindsay Lohan, and the 4th being the Hocus Pocus 2. So those are my stats that I compiled, and I think Hannah also has a few stats for us.
I have more social media / Spotify does a Spotify Wrapped for podcasters, so I have some Spotify specific stats. So in terms of Spotify, we went up 137% in followers and 72% in listeners this year. Also, our podcast was in the top 30% most shared globally.
Which is kind of fun.
Cool.
That's kind of fun. Top 30%. I wouldn't think it would be that high.
No, I wouldn't either, but
I'll take it.
And for some reason, between the week of February 13th and 19th, we had 135% more listeners compared to our average week. And the episode that came out that week was Ice Age. So it was not Ice Age, I can tell you that.
No, I don't think so at all.
Top 3 countries on Spotify were United States, United Kingdom, and Kenya. And Popular Popcorn had 204% more streams than our average episode. And we had, last time I checked, we've had over 150 different listeners just on Spotify, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not just 5 people listening to our episodes over and over again.
So that is just Spotify. In terms of Twitter, we doubled our followers from the previous year.
Nice.
And Instagram, I believe we more than doubled it. I did not write down how many Instagram followers we had at the end of last year, but I think we more than doubled it.
Nice.
So yeah, we went up in both.
Yeah.
Like you said, even though we posted less, we still went up, which is good. All about growth.
All about growth.
Yeah, and that is all I have specifically for that.
Okay. Now, Hannah, you made two things. Both of your times you said, if this doesn't happen or if this comes out, I will perform slam poetry.
Yes.
Now, the first one that you said, so your first claim, Hannah, of 2022 was you said, in the episode titled Pixar Lightyear, you said that if you ever rank a Pixar movie lower than Cars 2, you will perform slam poetry. Now, the good news, Hannah, is that we did not rank any Pixar movies lower than Cars 2. So far that one, still okay, still great. However, in the summer, you said, quote, if you don't get your ears pierced before the end of, I believe it was September,
Yes.
that you would perform a slam poetry session. Now, unfortunately, Hannah did not get her ears pierced in this time frame. She will have to perform slam poetry of her choosing. I didn't give her a time limit. I told her she could take whatever time.
I'm ready now.
You're ready. But because she lost, Hannah must perform slam poetry.
Can I get some snaps? I want a soft life. I want ease. I want relaxation. I do not want to hustle. I do not want to grind. Grinding wears you down to brittle nothingness. I do not want to work my life away. I want enjoyment and rest, not as reward, but as practice. My life will be a practice in joy. Thank you, thank you. Should say, one of our coworkers always talks about the grind and the hustle.
Ah, yes.
And we thought, we were joking one time about how that would be good as like a slam poetry.
Mm-hmm.
So, screenshotted this bad boy, and that's my slam poetry.
Nice.
It's about the grind.
Great.
I would like to title that The Grind.
The grind. The grind.
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you for your slam poetry.
Thank you.
Anyways, we just like to follow up on that claim Hannah made that,
I told you I would do it, and I did it.
Mm-hmm. We'll accept
I
slam
feel
poetry.
very confident about the Cars 2 one, that I won't have to do that.
We can hope. There's only one Pixar movie coming out next year.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we could be surprised.
You never know.
Okay, so now, the other thing that I'd like to discuss is, at the beginning of last year, I came up with this idea. And something that I wanted to do and implement. And I did implement it throughout this whole year. And in an early episode, I left a note to Hannah telling her that I was doing something and that she might find out or she might not and might have to wait until our year in review when I would reveal that to her. Now, Hannah, do you think you know what this is? Do you have any ideas?
Does it have something to do with, like, the episodes, or? I don't really know. Is it the fact that you put bloopers at the end of our episodes now?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it is. I've compiled an audio file of every end of the episode. Every time I did a first edit, I added something to the end of the episode. Now, Hannah, you found one of them, and you deleted it.
I thought it was a mistake.
And I thought that was the end. I was like, oh no, I only told one person about this. Otherwise, I didn't talk to anyone about it because I was like, I don't want it to be known. And I was like, oh my god, she knows, she found it. And the person was like, well, does she know or does she just think you left, like, can you play it off like it's a mistake? And I was like, I think I play it off like it's a mistake. So then I started doing it again. You never said anything to me. Then you did it. You added one to the end. And I was like, does she know? But then you didn't say anything. So I'm like, I'm not saying anything until you say anything. Because you never told me that you were like, oh, I figured it out.
I mean, I remember when I deleted that, and then you texted me, you said, oh, you got rid of the thing at the end. I said, oh, yeah, I thought you accidentally just left extra footage. Yeah. And you said, oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
And then, like, I would notice you were putting stuff at the end, and I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool idea. Yeah. So then I started to do it. Because...
But you just never said anything.
Well, yeah, because I just figured it was like, whatever.
Yeah. Well, that was it. That's what I was doing. I've been doing that since February.
Yeah, I just started doing it because I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool idea.
Anyway, I have the audio file of everything I added, because I don't know if you've heard... Did you ever go back and listen to any of them, or...
What do you mean, go back and listen to them?
To any of the ones I added?
I mean, I listened to all the episodes, so I've heard them all.
You've heard them all? You've heard them all and never said anything?
Yeah, I just thought it was like a fun little thing.
Why didn't you say... Hannah, I added one to the end where you talk about how you don't know what I missed. And you didn't think that was suspicious?
I don't know. I just kind of thought it was like a fun little thing.
Oh my god, Hannah. Well, I was waiting for you to tell me that you found it, and you never did.
Oh, so I didn't know something to find. I thought we were just doing it.
Oh my god. You've listened to all of them, every single one.
Yeah, because every time we have an episode now, I make sure I listen to the end. You can play it.
Well, now it just feels silly that you've just known the whole time and just never decided to say anything.
I didn't know I was supposed to.
Well, you literally say, I've been staying up at night thinking about this.
Oh, did I?
Yes, and I put it at the end so you could hear yourself saying that, and then maybe that would jog you.
Oh.
Oh, my God.
Oh, the thing that I didn't know you're talking about. Well, I didn't know that was that. I thought it was, like, a big surprise.
Well, that's why I put it at the end.
I thought you were going to tell me, like, someone famous listened to our podcast.
Oh, my God. No, it was not that. Oh, okay. Anyway. I don't know if Hannah's going to listen to this or not, but, Hannah is in the dark on a secret I have about this podcast that maybe she'll find out at some point, but if she doesn't, she will find out when we do a review, year-in review of our second season. So, just a sneak peek, if Hannah happens to listen to this, there's, what don't you know? Something. Anyway, so the first episode I did, it was our candle episode, which came out in February.
I'm trying to think of something.
We did not discuss an intro at all.
I'm trying to think of something that would seem calm and fit the mood of Serenity. Serenity is by Jan.
Took me by the hand, and one night, made everything alright. Let's do a cheers. Cheers.
Oh, that's nice little ASMR sound. We can edit that in. Some.
Okay. Ontology? No. Sorry, cut that out.
Okay, cut. Okay.
Pump it up.
Pump and jam, pump and jam.
Pump the jam.
I get knocked down,
jam,
and I get up again.
Jam, pump. Oh, sorry, my heater's making noise. I'm gonna go turn that off really quick.
Oh, I keep putting up the wrong fucking finger.
Oh, shit.
I know, it's hard to do. Oh, there. I thought you didn't get it. No.
Oh, I couldn't tuck it in. Okay, wait. All right. Oh, wait,
you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay.
I did it.
Okay.
I nailed it.
Anyways, that'll be fun to edit.
Yeah, this is the one you cut. So that's why I thought you knew at this point. Can you remind me what the order of our next few episodes is so I can remember?
Yeah, hold on.
Or maybe I can pull it up on the Google Drive. Oh, yeah. Disney, Dumbo, and Cinderella.
I have not started those at all.
I haven't either.
It's fine, though.
Earth Thing. Earth Thing.
No, we didn't really have it figured out. It was going to be for Earth Day.
Oh, for Earth Day.
But
okay, right. We were going to do
really
something Earth-related. Then Fago. Then
Check
Lost.
about the Fago.
Oh, also, Young Justice started again.
Oh, shit. I don't think I know where this is going. I think I'm lost.
I don't understand where you're going.
I think after the white peach, it actually took away the flavor.
Yeah. Cleansed your palate a little too hard.
Yeah, I think it cleansed too hard.
Yeah, so this is the one this is where you say it.
You know, I just randomly remembered last night and I couldn't fall asleep was when you included that extra part in that episode.
Yeah.
About what you were going to tell me next year's episode.
Uh-huh.
And I couldn't stop thinking about it last night and I couldn't fall asleep.
Interesting. Okay. Good enough.
Do we have an intro? Well, we'll probably get copyrighted if we use Mario music.
Probably.
Daddy Nintendo will come after us. Daddy Nintendo.
I just want to do something fun.
I liked it. I think it's fun.
Yeah.
I started doing it myself.
Yeah, I know. You started doing it yourself. This is the one you added. It's so hot, Sam.
But I feel so cold.
I'm tired of digging holes, Grandpa.
That's just too damn bad.
So, let's pretend that I played the piano, okay? Pretend it was good. Why am I so tiny? Okay. And turn on a different light. 1 second. Oh, fuck.
Don't mind me, I'm just a curious little rhino.
It's kind of hot when you use rhinos.
Okay.
I didn't tell you, Hannah, but when I got lunch with Abby, I almost didn't give her the microphone.
Oh my God, yeah.
It was bad.
We
The
said
whole reason
goodbye.
Yeah.
I almost got in my car and
Yeah.
I was like, wait.
The microphone. The whole reason we're meeting right now.
God. Do you think that light's too bright behind me? Should I turn it down a little bit?
I think it's fine.
Just makes me look pasty.
It's fine. It's the winter time. That's true.
I'd be surprised if you weren't pasty. Plus, I'm pasty anyway.
I was gonna say, you already are. Anyway, that's our clip of end credits that Hannah's known about since the first one and just never said anything. There's no Tito's sponsorship. Your expectations again are too high, Hannah.
Tom Welling didn't listen? Okay.
You wanted it to be that Tom Welling listened to our CW superhero show pilots?
Absolutely.
That's great. Anyway, so glad that you've known about it the whole time and just never said anything or acknowledged it in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Well, like last year, we are going to rank our top 10 episodes of the year, ranking ourselves, and just kind of discuss what our favorite episodes were. I have a question for you. Do you have a episode this year that you did not like?
Do I have an episode this year that I do not like? I don't like how it turned out.
Or, didn't like the recording process or something like that.
I mean, I didn't like having to watch all the Ice Age movies, but I don't think it was a bad episode. So that was just more torture and having to watch all these bad movies in a row.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't think there's any, nothing like the James Bond episode that stand out like that. I don't think we had any,
disastrous episodes
I think maybe, there's one episode, I can't remember which one, that I, put zero effort into.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything really for, and those ones I always feel kind of I didn't really do anything, so I'm not super invested, and I made my list really last minute kind of deal.
Yeah.
So maybe one of those, but not I can't remember which episode it is right now.
Fair. I will go ahead and start.
Yes. Did you have any that you didn't?
No, I didn't. I think the the Colors of the Rainbow one.
Yeah.
That was just kind of a episode where we thought it would be just quick to do. I just think I don't think the episode turned out bad. I just think I wasn't that invested in it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, also, we are only ranking episodes that released in 2022.
Yes.
So we're not going to include any that were recorded last year. So we're just doing a top 10 of this year.
Yeah. At some point we might do, maybe when we get to, 100, our 100th episode, we could, rank our 10.
Just 10.
Yeah,
that was a bit of a lisp there.
But yeah, maybe we could rank, a total top 10.
Maybe we could do a top 10, yeah. I don't know if we'll hit that. We might hit that at the end of this year.
Because we're at 80 something.
Yeah, we're at 80, and yeah.
We probably would hit it.
Probably. I think so.
Anyways, so number 10, I went with Animal Crossing Gossip Squirrel. I think that this one was sort of one of those random ones that we end up doing. But I do love this one because I love to roast people, and I loved the rage and anger we felt for characters in a game, not even real people. And I think we kind of thrive on that material when it's, judging.
Yeah, that would have been my number 11, was the Animal Crossing Gossip Squirrel. I do like the roasting people, and it was very close to making my list. So number 10... I think the reason why this took this place, and I'll explain it, is I have our Disney live action versus animated lizard people. The reason I put this as number 10 as opposed to the Animal Crossing is because I really liked, not necessarily the episode, but I liked the concept. I think that I like the ones that I feel we can have a lot of creative concepts with, and I feel setting this up so that way we can compare the live action to the animated counterpart, I think, is something that, because I feel we draw inspiration from a lot of other people who do, because, I've always, watched a lot of YouTube ranking lists of specific things, and people rank Disney movies and Pixar movies and things like that, but I've never seen anything where somebody is comparing the animated to the live action, specifically only that, and I've been wanting to watch the live action movies, and I feel this is a good way to do that. And we're able to separate it into smaller chunks than, say, our Pixar. We did all 22 together kind of deal. So that's why it's number 10, because I liked the concept, creating that concept.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Number 9, it was Songs of the Summer, another one. I like doing these ones because you get to hear new music. I don't think that the music ones translate that well in a podcast form, but I did love this one because we got to roast DJ Khaled yet again, got to roast country music.
Yeah. Yeah, that one was another one I considered, but I didn't put on my list. I think the reason why I didn't feel I put it on is because we did it so late this year, which, because we took our long hiatus, we ended up releasing it in November. which I think the problem is that we were so far separate from summer music that I had a hard time remembering, like, did I love this in the summer versus now? Like, you know, so I think that was why I didn't put it on my list.
Yeah.
Number 9, I have the CW pilot, Somebody Save Me.
Yeah.
Those ones are always just fun. That one, we watched, 13 pilots? 11 pilots?
Yeah, it was a lot.
It was a lot. So it was a very intensive episode. But, like, those ones are fun because we get to write our summaries, and that is fun. And, like, just the ridiculous things that come with some of these, like, superhero shows. So I just really, like, those are a lot of fun for me. I think this one is this one's a really long one. Yeah. Number 9.
Number 8, I went with Zodiac Signs. They were number 1. I said that I don't necessarily know if this was one of our better episodes, but it was just a topic that I really enjoy. Mm-hmm. And I had a lot of fun looking into, like, the background and research on it. And I also think that we were really different on our rankings, which doesn't happen often. And so that's why I kind of like it, because we got, like, a good mix of opinions.
So number 8, I have Earth Doomsday, Smoking Grass. This one was one we did for Earth Day, and I just, like, sometimes the really ridiculous ones are, like, the most fun to do, where we just ranked patches of grass, like, our favorite and least favorite, like, grass patches. So we didn't even, like, it was fun. Like, I feel like we got to give a lot of, like, anecdotal stories from our past of good and bad things. Like, I talked about how I ran a race and finished it and then sat and cried in grass because of how distraught I was over how poorly that race went. So those ones are just, like, fun, and I think we were talking about how the Earth was going to be destroyed, so and we're like, but hey, it's Earth Day, like, you know, everything's fine. So that's why that one's number 8.
Number 7, I went with March Madness Mascot Mayhem. This was, like, one that we did that was just, like, a very different format, and I think that the NHL logos is, like, one of the only sports ones we've done. That was what I consider, like, one of our weaker episodes. I think, though, the way we did this was, like, it worked out better. And I also think it was fun to make the list of mascots because some of them were absolutely horrifying.
They were.
Like, it was ridiculous. But I just had fun doing that one.
Number 7, I have Candle Names Not Sent to Be. This is the most fun I think I've had writing a background summary. I don't know, I had a really good time finding background and researching this. And also just because, again, this is the same thing as, like, the Earth Doomsday. Like, it's just, like, sometimes the, like, really silly rankings are, like, the most fun for me to do because I feel like they're very, like, give us a good creative outlet. So, like, just basing candles on the names of them was a concept that I think turned out well and, like, was fun to execute. So I liked that one a lot.
Okay, number 6, I had Variety Hour Part 2. I really enjoy Variety Hour. I think they're just fun and, like, they're not serious. I love to do, like, the speed rankings. I liked when we did the movie summaries. I thought those were really fun to do. And I just, like, enjoy those because they're always really relaxing and they don't require a lot of prep work either.
Yeah. Number 6, I have Avril Lavigne, Bite Me. Again, I think the music episodes are hard sometimes because of the fact that, like, we can't play music, but we're ranking music, but we can't necessarily play it because, like, we'd get copyright immediately, and although we don't, like, necessarily, like, get income, like, we don't, like, our income doesn't depend on these, you know, it's still, like, I wouldn't want it to have to delete the episode because of, you know, our song use.
We also can't afford to be sued.
Yes, we can't afford to be sued. That's accurate as well. This one, like, was our most popular episode of the year. It did really well, which again makes sense because we love Avril Lavigne, and it was fun getting to revisit her music with the new album that had just come out. So I really enjoyed that one.
Number 5, I went with just collective all the guest episodes. I think it's fun to have guests. I think it's really good to have a counterbalance for me and you because we can be very similar sometimes, and it's nice to have a different opinion. And I think it's like a nice way to also, like, catch up with people but have, like, a conversation and have stuff to do.
Yeah, number 5, I also have all the guest episodes. Yeah, I think it's really fun to bring people on to rank things that they have an interest in and are passionate about, because we try to bring on someone for an episode with something we know that they like.
Right.
And it's people we know, so that's also fun as well. And I feel like those are always fun, like, one for us, but also I think those episodes generally tend to do well, like, in terms of, like, reception, just because, yeah they're fun to make.
Number 4, I want CW superhero pilots, Somebody Save Us. I agree with you. I think the pilots are really fun to do. I think this one was just, like, very unhinged.
Yeah.
I love watching the shows. I thought, like, we were able to make fun of some of the shitty shows, which is fun. And some of the summaries we wrote, we were, like, dying laughing. Like, I couldn't get through one of them.
Yeah.
And we just sounded, that episode, the whole episode, we sounded like we were having a lot of fun.
Yeah. You also revealed that my kink is consensual flashing, and I'll never forgive you for that.
Uh-huh.
So number 4, I have the zodiac signs. They were number 1. I think that episode is really fun. Again, one, because we were so different in our rankings, and it was just kind of fun to go through something kind of silly. But also, I feel like that is the episode that I heard the most from people. Like, I got a lot of text messages from people being like, you ranked me last. Right. Like, how dare you? And not in this serious manner, but I feel like it's fun when we actively, like, hear from people who listen to it, you know?
Yeah.
That's kind of like the same with, like, our American Girl Doll episode last year, where we had a lot of, like, people commenting, like, oh, I'm excited to listen to this one, or, like, I thought this was funny. Yeah. So I like episodes that are both fun for us, and also, like, we do hear things from people as well.
Number 3, I did Bubbly, Hannah Threw Up. This one was brutal to do. It was very hard to record, but us talking about Caillou and how we hate him, not because he's bald, and then Alyssa saying he's a bald bitch.
He's a little bald bitch.
We laughed a ton. I almost threw up. It went off the rails. It reminds me of the childhood drinks with alcohol, because there was points where we just, like, couldn't get through it, and then we came back and we were perfectly fine. It was brutal, though. It was very brutal, which is why I can't put it as number 1 or 2. But it was really fun, and I think it turned out to be a really good episode.
So number 3, I have the popular popcorn, hot sauce, and cereal. This one, I think, was really fun because, 1, we did a food ranking of something we like, being popcorn, but also because we executed something successfully. Yeah. So I wanted to, stemmed from my dislike of people not appreciating Chicago mixed popcorn, and I was like, can we send this to a bunch of people, make them take a survey, get the results, and then also do an episode based around that? And we, like, got it. We, like, did it, and we actively, like, sent popcorn out. We got people, everyone we sent it to completed the survey, and we got, like, over 20 people's, like, comments and thoughts on it. We also ate popcorn cereal. Like, that was something we added on the fly because you were like, yeah, they used to eat popcorn cereal, and I was like, what? And, like, we gotta do it. And it was just a lot of fun. I think that one was the one I'm, like, proudest of this year. That I'm like, that we were able to do it successfully and, like, pull everything off that we wanted to do.
Yeah. Number 2, I have popular popcorn, hot sauce, and cereals. I agree with everything you said. I think it was fun to be able to, like, interact with listeners. It was also, like, a really fun food taste test, and it gave me a new way to eat popcorn, which I still use, which is Old Bay.
Yeah, the Old Bay is delicious.
But yeah, I think it was fun. I think I'm also very proud too, because we put a lot of work into it. It came out really well, and I think that like, the whole process was fun to do. Yeah. So, yeah.
Number 2, I have March Madness Mascot Mayhem. This one was, it went off the rails. For just being big hooves. You're like, what did I say? Hooves. 1, because you compiled a list of all the mascots, a photo, and then just a description of them. And those were so funny. Some of those mascots are absolutely terrifying.
Like Gideon.
Oh my god. Like, I just liked one that we just took the, mascots from the actual tournament. So they're the teams that existed, and then ranked them, like, based on mascot in, like, a bracket style system. I think it was different format and was a way to do sports that worked, I felt like. And I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. It was really silly. It was really enjoyable episode to record and to do, like, the research and stuff on as well.
Number 1, I have Candle Names Not Sent to Be. For some reason, our weirdest episodes end up being the most fun ones to record. Episode was super unhinged and unique. I enjoyed it, and I can remember recording this one because all the candle scents started to mix together.
They started to get so
and I had,
strong.
like, a really bad headache. Yeah. And your background segment on this is, like, one of my favorite things ever. You just kept going, and the way you were speaking, the way you got so invested in it is just so much fun to me. And I remember, like, we had so much fun recording it. We also, like, this one, I'm so happy it came out the way it did, because up until like 30 minutes before, we still didn't have a concrete idea of what we were actually doing.
We didn't either. Yeah, it took us forever to figure out how to actively rank what we wanted.
And we also were confused on, like, we both had different ideas of what the ranking
Yeah.
is, and so it came together really last minute, but I think it came out pretty well.
I think so too. Yeah, it was the most like unhinged, like
Yeah.
trying to actually get together this idea of how do we rank candles, but how do we do it in a way that makes sense.
It
and
reminds me a
translates.
lot of, oh shoot, what was the one we did last year?
Is it a taste test one?
Oh, it reminded me of the Winnie the Pooh, because it was
yes.
so weird and it came
Yeah.
together like last minute, but I ended up really
Yeah.
loving the episode.
Yeah, so number one, I have bubbly Hannah threw up. Now, I did not suffer as much as Hannah did, so therefore, I don't think I've ever laughed harder recording. Like, we were crying. Like, you thought you were gonna throw up.
did.
I've gone back and listened to this one more than once before. Like, I've gone back specifically to seek out, well, especially the part where we talk about Caillou. Because we just, we were unhinged. Like, we could not get through this episode. Like, it was a mess. And, like, I think the ones that are most fun for us are the ones where we're, like, we have a good time and we're actively, laughing. And the fact that it was sparkling water, like, that we just, were so unhinged, like, I don't know. It's so funny. You burped so many times. I had to edit and cut so many burps. Like, I just started censoring them because I couldn't keep cutting all of them, and I thought it was funny if I just, censored your burps. It was so funny, though. Like, the discussion where I said Canadian.
Yeah.
Caillou is a Canadian. But yeah, that's why that one's number one. I didn't suffer as much, but it was very silly and very fun.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's our top 10. Number 10, I had Animal Crossing, Songs of Summer, Zodiac Signs, March Madness, Variety Hour, Guest Episodes, CW Superhero Pilots, Bubbly, Popular Popcorn, and then Candle Names.
And number 10, I have the Disney live action versus animated, CW Pilots, Earth Doomsday, Candle Names, Avril Lavigne, Guest Episodes, Zodiac Signs, Popular Popcorn, March Madness, and then Bubbly, Hannah Threw Up is number 1.
Yeah, so that is 2022.
It's 2022. We did it. We made it.
We did.
We got through it.
We
Somehow.
somehow we managed.
Somehow we did manage to make it through this episode. Bless you. Bless you. You sneezed in our last year's one, too, and you cut me off 3 times.
Sorry.
It's par for the course.
Sorry.
But yeah, so we'll be back with, I think we have one more planned episode of January.
Yep.
It was supposed to come out in November, but then I got COVID, so then we couldn't record. So you'll be getting it this month. It'll warm your hearts. Maybe.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. Bye.
Bye. Oh, if you want to reach
us,
we have our Instagram, our Twitter, r3podcast@gmail.com is our email. And
if you have any comments about this year's episodes or any suggestions, we'd love to have them. We always like suggestions from people we know. Some of our best episodes are suggestions from other people. So, bye.
Bye.
Freedom.
We would like to thank Joseph McDade for our intro music. He provides free music available for all kinds of creative use. The song that we used is called Sunrise Expedition, and you can find it and his other music on his website, josephmcdade.com. If you would like to reach us, you can email us at r3podcasts@gmail.com. That's R, the number 3, podcasts@gmail.com. Or you can find us on Instagram by searching Research Rank Repeat.
Do you have any tape?
No, lift your head up.
No, you have any tape?
Lift your head up.
Oh, don't snap it. Ah! You snapped it.
You're fine. You're so dramatic.
I told you not to snap it.
Perfect.
You did exactly what I told you not to do.
It's hard not to. You're fine.
The first thing I said is don't snap it.
You're fine. You'll be
Ow.
okay. I believe in you.
All right.